Why is Trump so fixated on toys for little girls? This was the discussion last year where Trump basically said you only need a couple of dolls and anything more than that, you just cut back a little bit, right? Which is obviously ridiculous considering that Trump and all his rich billionaire buddies are always flaunting wealth on their gold toilets, etc. Let me show you guys what's going on with the economy today. Remember, Trump only said you need a couple of dolls. Turns out people aren't really buying that much. Mattel shares plunge after holiday results miss estimates. This just came out today from the toy company. And I think the stock is now down 25%. They're saying things aren't going to be so rosy in 2026 due to Trump's tariffs and also the downturn in the economy. You also have this today. Ford discloses additional $900 million tariff hit, right? All these things that Trump are doing are crushing the economy, not in a good way, of course. And now we're going to get a jobs report tomorrow, and word on the street, this is coming from Bloomberg, we are expecting 0 jobs added in January. 0 jobs added in January. So we're going to get the report tomorrow, but this is kind of what we're expecting from Bloomberg. They also say here, on jobs, we are expecting about a 666,000, 666, I guess, a 666K downward revision to March 2025 payrolls level as part of the annual benchmarking. Okay, so we're going to get a downward revision. And Jerome Powell's warned us about this stuff before, that whatever numbers come out, chances are it's way worse than what they're telling you. After all that's done, including birth and death model update in the post benchmark period, we expect December 2025 to see a downward revision near 1 million. Wow. So we're just bleeding jobs. We're losing business, and I guess you only get a couple of dolls.
I just hope the Supreme Court does what's right for the country, because now, will I figure something out? But the answer is yes. But it won't be as beautiful as it is right now.
So according to Trump, if the Supreme Court goes against him on the tariffs, it won't be as beautiful as it is right now. And I'm telling you already, it's not that beautiful. As you can see, you only get a couple of dolls as Mattel sales are down and Ford is getting crushed. And then you have the ICE stuff, because I want to put this all in context. Have you guys heard about this story? Irish man held in ICE detention says he fears for his life and asks Ireland for help. So this guy, I believe his name is Seamus Colleton, married to an American. He's got like a proper work visa. It says, I'll read it. An Irishman who has been held by ICE and enforcement for 5 months, despite having a valid work permit and no criminal record, says he fears for his life and appealed for help from the Ireland's government. He's saying that it's like torture. I'm not in fear of the other inmates. I'm afraid of the staff. They're capable of anything. Just try to get me out of here and do all you can, please. It's an absolute torture, a psychological and physical torture. It's just horrible, horrible, horrible place. The other way, Irishman detained for 5 months in, quote, concentration camp by ICE. And this is a person in Ireland talking about it. You can hear what they have to say.
Micheál Martin should not be going to the White House. Seamus Culleton's testimony from the horror of the ICE camps is just another very good reason why we shouldn't be going. He's one of a whole number of Irish citizens being taken by ICE. We know that an Irish grandmother was held for 5 months by ICE, and that's not to speak about all the others. We know the record in terms of the bullying behaviour, the kidnapping of Maduro, of Celia Flores, the killing of 100 people, the threats to Greenland, the attempts to tear up what is left of the United Nations and replace with a personal board of peace. They're all reasons why Micheál Martin should not go to the White House.
And what's going on right now is basically in other countries. So I'm going to just give you different points of view. Local people are saying, hey, we should cut off relationship with you and say, don't meet with Trump until you address the concerns of why are you detaining, an Irish person for 5 months despite having all the proper paperwork. The whole thing is, you have to put this all in context, right? It's not just one thing that Trump is doing bad. It's just everything. Then they're going to try to come out. This is what they've been doing, try to downplay the jobs numbers. Oh, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Ahead of jobs report, White House seeks to downplay any slowdown And then that's why the real numbers, say from Bloomberg or otherwise, matter.
One thing I want to note, the jobs report's going to come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have to revise our expectations down significantly for what a monthly job number should look like. When we were letting in 2 million illegal aliens, they're coming in. We had to produce 200,000 jobs a month for steady state. And by the way, all of the jobs that we were creating in Biden years were going to illegals. Americans were going to the unemployment lines. That's totally reversed. And now 50,000 a month is going to be more like what we need. So Wall Street, when this stuff comes out, they can't rain on that parade. They have to adjust for the fact that we're deporting millions of illegals.
So Nats Navarro, it's the same song and dance. When in doubt, blame Biden, blame illegals, etc. But see the stuff for yourself, right? The stuff that they're claiming is just simply not true. And when you see like who they are going after is the ICE people like this, and they describe the conditions as you, from his own words, like horrible, horrible, horrible. And then what Fox News does to cover up the stuff going on, they've been running the story about a kidnapping, which, I hope they find the person's mom. I think it's like a famous TV host. I hope they find her mom. But that's what Fox News does. They'll completely downplay some stories and overplay other stories, right? And if you look at sort of what the White House's perspective is on this stuff, it's all, guys, we're all going to be rich. We're all going to be growing due to AI. So today, the White House is putting out Melania stuff. America's next generation of innovators, the first presidential AI challenge is underway. And I've covered this before, and it's just a bunch of nonsense, Part of what they want you to do is they want you to also be like in some sort of contest, to do American history, but they're probably going to stress certain parts of history and take out other parts. They're teaming up with Turning Point USA. That's the Charlie Kirk stuff. Right-wing universities are in this. Also, it's like Hillsdale, like a Christian university kind of thing. And then if you understand the whole full context of stuff, they've been going to our national parks, Smithsonian things, and taking down exhibits of things they don't like, be it the history of slavery, or be it the history of Native Americans. This is the kind of stuff that Trump are doing. Like they try to twist history, remove history. Then they want you to be a bunch of automatons and go into AI. That's the stuff that they're pushing nonstop.
And they say 3% growth. Oh, this is great. GDP. 3% GDP. 2.5%. They're very happy. 2.5%. 2%. 1%. They're happy with anything. We should grow 15 or 20%. Larry, every time we're growing, they stop it by announcing that, we're going to raise interest rates and stuff. So we're going to do 5.4%, it was announced, with a Democratic shutdown, which cost us at least 1.5 points, okay? People don't realize we could have been at 7%. We should be at 15%.
So then Trump's all telling us, we should be growing 15 to 20%. And if we're not growing 15 to 20%, then it must be Biden's and the Democrats' fault, right? And, if you remember, like, big part of what they're pushing, I keep telling you guys, it's just what it is the AI bubble. They keep pushing it. CNBC then reports there's fears on how that's going to hit the financial sector. The AI threat wrecked software stocks. Now financial stocks look, weak. That's 8% down on one. Then you have this, U.S. brokerage shares slide in latest sell-off driven by new AI tool. And the concern is, are you going to replace jobs? Are margins of some companies going to get hit because I guess we're not going to be using certain kinds of, services anymore due to this whole AI thing? We'll see. I mean, I think a lot of it is hype. Some of it is real, and that's what we try to go through every day. But I will say this, the over exuberance and the basically tulip mania that the Trump people are pushing is completely unsustainable, as, again, all of the resources and stuff like that is going to your AIs, your cryptos, your Elon Musk and stuff like that. And a lot of it is scam, as you guys know. And then that's why it makes sense to track, say, what's going on with, say, retail. Are people even buying dolls anymore? Apparently not, according to Mattel. And this year's going to get ugly. You also have Saks. It says Saks to close 9 department stores in initial bankruptcy review. Wow. And then you got this. You have a basically K-shaped economy. The struggles of quick service restaurants also speak to the growing bifurcation in the U.S. economy, right? The rich get richer, the poor get poor, where restaurants and other businesses that cater to low-income Americans are experiencing reduced sales as their customers increasingly struggle to make ends meet. And one of the things too, even if the numbers come out positive in GDP, let's say, 2% growth or whatever, right? For example, maybe that only represents Elon Musk buying, a bunch of yachts and buying a bunch of satellites with, government contracts, that kind of stuff, right? Whereas everyone else suffers. A larger portion of retail sales in USA, so consumption, basically consumerism, a larger portion is like the top 1% kind of thing. And everyone else is like struggling to even just have food. This is the thing, like barely people even go out to eat anymore. It's too expensive. And then you have to remember all this stuff is based on debt, right? This is Google. Do Google boost debt sale again as total raise exceeds 30 billion? I showed you guys this stuff yesterday. It was like a 100-year bond that they're issuing, but you have to understand where Trump thinks and gets his numbers, right? It's based on all these tech bros saying, oh, guys, we got to remove all the regulations that we possibly can, screw the environment, right? Screw any sort of protections, just keep that money flowing to pumping to AI. And then you see how the markets are reacting to it. So that's what's going on. I want to hear your thoughts. Do be careful out there. And I'll catch you on the next video.